anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box, and I'll keep an eye on that. A great thing, this is a quote from Russell Brunson: to turn your dream customers into true fans, you have to encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. And if you break this down, this is a really powerful sentence, or a couple of sentences. Let's just quickly look at it before we move forward with stuff. Like, to turn your dream customers into true fans, because that's what we want. We want to take our dream customers and we want them to become lifelong fans. We have to encourage their dreams. That, I think for me, this is a really important thing. I speak to an awful lot of people whose coaches tear them down. Like, they don't encourage their dreams. They might encourage the participant to try and fulfill the coach's dream. But actually, like, to me, one of the most important jobs of a good coach is to encourage their clients. It's to fully buy in to the client's dream. Every person's dream should be different. Every person's journey should be different. Yes, there'll be similarities along the way, but you have to encourage them. Like, justify their failures, find ways to talk them through, make them rational. Don't allow clients to beat themselves up when things go wrong, because failures, as we all know, it's only the end of the road if you quit. If you can dust yourself off, stand yourself back up, you can move forward. Allay their fears and just put them to bed. Get rid of their fears. Help them to overcome their fears. Show them that there is no monster under the bed. Show them that actually, when that fear comes, that's your body telling you to get ready, because you're about to go into a place that you've not been before, which means you are about to grow. Something amazing is about to start happening. And I tell you, I'm sure if you ask any astronaut that's ever been to space, they were scared shitless. When you've got their heat shield, there's flames everywhere, there's heat everywhere. Like, they're scared beyond belief. They're like, oh my God, I hope we make it back. I hope we make it out. I hope we make it anywhere. But they knew what they were doing. Sometimes things go wrong, but NASA didn't give up. NASA tried again and again and again and again. Now, confirm their suspicions. That means just talk about the elephant in the room. I've worked with people, with coaches that haven't been fantastic, that haven't delivered on their promises. That's why I do everything I can to be a man of my word, a coach of my word. Because it is about making sure that you resonate with somebody, that you're transparent with somebody, that you make sure that you align with that person. Because I'm a firm believer, money is in abundance out there in the marketplace. If you are looking to build a coaching business because you love helping people, you value like the interactions with people, and obviously you're trying to financially provide for yourself, you don't have to work with every customer, and you don't have to convince them that you're the ideal coach. You need to work with people you resonate with, which always comes back to that 3-stage framework we're going to touch on at some point of roadmap, vehicle, driver. You have to make sure the driver, which is the client, is the right fit for the vehicle. And then you help them throw rocks at their enemies. That's the things that they've tried in the past that haven't worked for them. And that's ultimately a real strong formula to help you turn those dream customers into raving fans. Understanding the client roadmap. So if you don't know where you're headed, how do you know how to get there? You have to be able to break this process down. You have to be able then, from that point, you'll be able to create that golden offer, which is that offer that your ideal client cannot refuse. And the key with this is it needs to be a new opportunity, not an improvement offer. Okay. And we're going to start to talk quite a lot now about how we market ourselves and the offer, and make sure that it appeals to people. But it's really, really important that we make sure it's a new opportunity. And a great example of a new opportunity, think of when Steve Jobs stood on the stage, and so the owner of Apple, obviously he's not live anymore, but the founder or director of Apple, and he stood there, he reached into his back pocket, I think he's wearing black jeans that day, probably with a black polo, because I think that's all he ever wore, and he stood on a black stage, and he pulled out the white the white iPod from his pocket. The first iPod anyone had ever seen. Was that a new mini disc player? Was it a CD player, tape player? No. It was a brand new opportunity to put your entire music collection in the palm of your hand. In that moment, they transformed music. They did it again when they released the iPhone. It was the birth of smartphones. A whole computer in the palm of your hand. It's like something from the future. And then they did it again with the iPad. They continue to bring new opportunities to the market. They did it again with the desktop iMacs, a computer without a tower and in a flat screen. Wasn't even in a CRT big box screen. Like, it's about being able to create that new opportunity, not an improvement offer, because an improvement offer is genuinely seen as a commodity. So if you're making people a bit fitter or lighter or a little bit stronger, that ends up becoming just an improvement offer, which for many people is seen as a commodity. So think Beachbody, think Les Mills, think boot camp classes. Those products cost 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 pounds or dollars, either in total or per month. Those are commodity offers. What we want to be able to create are solid mid and high ticket programs that create complete change. We want to be able to create a new opportunity for somebody to transform their body, to transform their mind, to overcome that biggest roadblock that they've been stuck with for such a long time. And all of these things, they all link to the same thing: status. Like, status is the thing that causes people to move towards you or not. Why do you buy the car that you buy? For status. Why do you buy the food that you buy? Generally for status. Why do you live where you live? For status. The clothes that you wear, status. And then you'll get somebody who will say, no, I don't buy into any of that stuff. Well, that's still status, because you are actively not buying designer brands because you don't want to be seen as the person who wears designer brands. It's status. It's a human condition. Like, we are always driven by status, whether it's in a way to try and move up levels or a way to affirm we stay at the current level. Like, status drives us as human beings. And the other great area when it comes to this need for a new opportunity is that it creates this new discovery for people. So when they released the iPhone or the iPad or the iPod, it was a new discovery. It wasn't like, oh yeah, I know what that is. It's a mini disc player or a CD player. So I keep saying mini disc. Who even owned a mini disc player? Like a CD player. It's a new discovery. Like, people, they want to share it, or that increases because it increases status. Like, that's how viral videos even start. Like, you also experience this phenomenon of all of a sudden it's no longer an improvement offer. You're not trying to help somebody now to get lighter, to lose weight. Like, it's now a case of you're showing them a way to transform their nutrition so that they can have a new body, however you want to package it. But it creates this thing of, it removes that mental pain and disconnect in the brain. Like, there's no fear of a decrease in status because it's new. Like, you replace the dream. Like, it's dream replacement. Like, if they, like, it's about understanding that if you try and just do an improvement offer, all of a sudden, if you don't deliver on it, the dream is dead. It's about understanding how we approach things in a slightly different way. And when we're going through this, it's about understanding. So understanding the client roadmap. Like, this is the first stage in this 3-step process of roadmap, vehicle, driver. We need to make sure that we're asking ourselves things like, where is your ideal customer when they come to you? Like, what condition are they in? What state are they in? What place are they in with their health or their wealth or their relationships? Right? Where are they when they start working with you? Where does your customer want to get to? So some of these questions, they overlap with that other worksheet. So that other worksheet is helpful in getting a clear understanding with this. What's the big promise? Like, what are you able to deliver with this big promise? What will they get as a result of working with you? What deliverables can they walk away with? Like, what are they going to have? Like a game plan that they can share with other people, a plan that's going to stay with them forever, an approach and a methodology that is going to allow them to continue to make progress for the rest of their life. If it's a non-fitness based offer, something like a full marketing plan. And then it's about understanding, we need to map out the steps. Like, what is the process going to be? Like 3 to 7 steps. What is the process going to be that is going to be from the start to the finish? So as an example, if I was to use business coaching as an example of the 7 steps. So step 1 is personalization. It's about making people understand that cookie cutter approaches don't work. You need customization because your journey is unique and you need a specific set of directions to get you to your goal. Step 2 is about mindset and skill set. Now that we've mapped out your journey, we're going to show you how to get equipped with the mindset and the skill set it takes to complete your journey. Then we're going to focus on branding and messaging. We're going to get clear on who you want to serve and what message you want to communicate to the audience. If you target everyone, no one will hear you. Then we're going to focus on your offer. Now that we understand who we want to serve, we can now create that offer that people can't refuse. That offer I call the golden offer. Then we're going to focus on step number 5, which is traffic. There's no point having a golden offer if you've got nobody to see it. It's like standing in the downstairs cupboard shouting. You need to make sure that you get in front of your ideal customer. We're going to show you how to find them. We're going to put you in front of them and get you in front of as many people as possible so that you have traffic when you need it. Then we're going to show you how to make sure that your pipeline, when it's overflowing with leads, how to convert these leads. And finally, the product build out. You've gone through all the hard work. You've built this business. You've got leads literally pouring everywhere. You're able to convert the sale. Now we have to do the deliverables. We need to over deliver for our client, and we've got this covered for you. We will build out your program. So that's the 7 steps that I would use for my business coaching. And that's the kind of approach that we need to go and break down inside of your fitness program. We need to make sure that you have got each area mapped out so it feels like a very systematic journey for the person to go on. Literally, it can be as little as 3 steps, as many as 7 steps. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And when we're developing that initial offer, that golden ticket offer, we want to focus on delivering the baby. And what do I mean by that? So delivering the baby is very much, think of it this way. So I'm a dad, I've got 5 kids. And for me, I always think this is a good analogy of it, because pregnancy, for those of you that have either been through it or have seen somebody go through it, or your partner's been through it, it's 9 months of not the most joyous of times, especially as you get towards the end and at the very beginning with the morning sickness. And it's a case of everyone wants the baby at the end. Look at these babies, these really cute little babies. But nobody wants to do the 9 months if they don't have to. They'd rather just go straight to the hospital bed and sit there with a lovely baby in their arms. Like, it's just how it is. And you need to focus on this approach when you're delivering that big promise inside of that initial offer, that big high ticket offer. Like, what's the baby? What's the real big promise? Remember that question, I think it was question 2. What's the biggest thing that you could do? That's your big promise. That's your baby. Like, that's what you're going to deliver for the clients who are ready for the baby. Okay. It's about really focusing on developing that real big promise for people. And then when we start looking at our offer, and this is another really great way that we can start to differentiate ourselves. There's two different ways we can do it: complementary, or we can do competitive. And to me, this really comes down to where you are in the market. So personally, I'm purely online. I'm 100% online. So my offers are competitive offers. I am throwing rocks at people who are not online. So the fitness side of things, like, I am throwing rocks at personal trainers, because to me, I don't complement a personal trainer. I replace a personal trainer. I replace the personal trainer so fully especially if you're only interested in lifestyle fitness, I provide 100% of the solution. They provide at best 20% of the solution. But you can sell the same service in a complementary way. So if you are a personal trainer and you want to provide a complementary online service, you're obviously not going to throw rocks at yourself, because that would be ridiculous. You're going to provide a complementary service. This actually allowed me a really exciting opportunity. When I first started working with personal trainers and I started to help them to build that online fitness brand, that online fitness business, because for me, this isn't about taking what you do offline and just replicating it online. This is your opportunity to transcend and to really have that revolution. And we're trying to do more, but you're able to offer a hybrid service. So you're going to have some people who just want straight online. You're always going to have some clients who are going to always want you face to face, but you're going to open yourself up now to a new group of people. This group of people that want some things delivered face to face, but some also want it delivered, like some parts of it delivered online. A best of both worlds, a compromise, as it were. And this is where the complementary offer really comes in. And I'll tell you a really quick story about this. So I don't know what year it was. It was long, long ago. But the birth of orange juice, it was from a company called Sunkist, and the orange trees were massively overproducing oranges that year. And they had no idea what to do with it. Like, they were chopping the trees down because the oranges were just spoiling. And then the owner of Sunkist had an idea. They made a juicer, the very first juicer, and they noticed that it took 2 to 3 oranges to fill a glass. So they could use a large quantity of oranges, package it up into cartons, sell it, and then had no oranges going to loss. That is the example of a complementary offer. A competitive offer, great example would be ClickFunnels. For those of you that have been online for a little while, no doubt you know what ClickFunnels is. If you don't know what ClickFunnels is, it's a landing page software. So it's not a website. It's basically, it takes you to a sales page that would sell you one product. If you wanted to see a sales page, if you go to my Facebook profile, there's a web link in my bio. You can click that. That'll take you to a sales page. That page is called a VSL, which stands for Video Sales Letter. There's a short video, and then there's the opportunity for you to opt in to my page. I'll collect your email address, and then you'll see lots of testimonials from clients, etc. And you can obviously use it to sell things. But ClickFunnels, when they launched, they were a competitive offer, and they threw rocks at websites. It was the death of websites. And their marketing strategy heavily targeted websites to say it was the death of them. So it's about understanding, how do you best position yourself? And this purely comes down to your specific business and what you need. And if you want guidance on this, as always, if you're in the program, just let me know. If you're not in the program and you want somebody to talk to about this, reach out to me. There's support available. We can more than happy to talk this through with you and get this clear in your own minds if there's any confusion. So frameworks that we want to start looking at. So we want to start packaging up our new opportunity. So we want to use these kind of taglines to be able to tap into people's brains in the right way. So if you were to use this process, we help dream customer to achieve result through new opportunity. So there's an example below. We help exhausted mums over 40, that's the dream customer, to achieve total body confidence and abundant energy, that's the result, through our unique 4-step framework. All of a sudden, like, it's something different to, we help mums lose weight and feel good. It's much more than that. You see what I mean? We're talking to exhausted mums over 40. So we're really playing to the dream customer, like mums, they're working hard, they get to 40, maybe they're like, oh, I'm not feeling that great. They're tired. They want energy. They want that abundant energy. They don't even think it's even possible anymore. But they also want to be able to stand there and look in the mirror and feel confident. But how are we going to deliver it? Through, if you were to write, through restrictive diet and exercise, well, they're like, oh, same as everything else then. Through our unique 4-step framework, it immediately is a new opportunity, because they go, oh, I don't know what that framework is. You could replace unique 4-step framework with our patented 3-step process, through the anti-diet method, through the pain-free for life system, whatever you want it to be. It all of a sudden becomes a new opportunity. And it's really important that we start packaging things up in certain ways, so that we get people's interest. Because online, it's a bit different to walking the gym floor. You have a very limited window to get somebody's attention, and if we just blend in with the masses, nobody will ever hear us. We will literally be drowned out by the noise that is online fitness. So we have to separate ourselves. As they say, whilst everyone zigs, we need to zag. Okay, this is another way of doing it. So my blank step framework for blank, insert result. I'll give you 2 examples here. So Apex Executive, my 7-step framework for dominant online fitness business growth. So they understand what the result is. They understand that they're going to get dominant online fitness business growth. They don't know how, other than through a 7-step framework. They could take a guess at the 7 steps, but they don't know. My fitness program, the anti-diet method, my 4-step process for a new body without sacrificing the food you love. So again, it's a case of there's 4 steps involved. They could probably guess exercise might be involved somewhere in it, but what are the other 3 steps? And how do I get to eat the foods that I love, but still get a new body? It asks more questions than it answers, and it pricks the interest. And that's all we want to do with this. These are taglines. These are things that you can put in your bio. These are things that you can put on a graphic. If you're going to put it on Instagram, you could chuck something like this on Twitter and see what comes back. Who wants a free PDF outlining my 7-step framework to dominate online fitness growth? Who wants to get a free 5-minute video on my 4-step process to a new body without sacrificing the food you love? You can use this to create lead magnets. So, where do I find my customers? How do I get heard? This is the stuff that we want to start moving into. So now we started getting the basics covered. By now we should, hello, I'm back again. We should hopefully have covered who is our ideal client now. We should have thought a bit about our offer. If you don't have an offer, you need to create an offer, at least the outline of an offer. We don't want to go build it, but we want to have the outline of the offer, because we're going to pre-sell. Okay, so you want to have the outline of an offer. If you are not part of my program and you don't have an offer and you don't know how to get the offer, I suggest you reach out to me. We can have a conversation and move that forward. If you are in my program, we have got you covered. We will make sure you have your offer. But where do I find my customers? How do I get heard? Because as I literally just said a moment ago, there is so much noise in the fitness industry. Since COVID in particular, the market has moved forward, I would say 5, maybe even 10 years. It was already moving at a fast pace, the online fitness industry, but it's moved forward light years. And there's going to be a lot of people who come online and they try and just replicate what they do offline. They are just going to try and be an online PT. It doesn't work, not long term. Doing Zoom sessions forever is going to be the death of people, because it's boring purely just doing Zoom sessions. If that's all you do, it's boring. There's got to be more to it. There's got to be a backbone to the program. There's got to be a way, like more deliverables than just that. Obviously, Zoom's a fantastic way to keep in contact with people. It's fantastic to have client interaction, but that shouldn't just be all you do. Otherwise, you're just chained to your laptop the whole time. Like, you have to be able to build more of a program. So how do we get heard? That's what I want to start to tap into now. So one person, that's your ideal client. One problem, biggest pain point. One solution, our golden offer. This is something that I literally say non-stop to people. One person, one problem, one solution. It literally translates to ideal client, their biggest pain point, your golden offer. Resolve their biggest pain. This will start to get you heard. This is fundamental. Like, this is such a critical point. You want to talk to one person. And the reason you want to talk to one person is because that puts you above the noise. All of a sudden, if I'm talking directly to you right now, you listen. Like, you start to listen directly to me, because if I say, hey, yes, I'm talking to you, directly to you right now, immediately you're like, oh, well, talking to me? Yes, yeah, I'm talking to you. Like, if you just go, hello, everyone, I'm talking to everybody, you might listen a little bit, but not properly. And then what we want to do with our marketing is we want to make sure we hit that biggest pain point, and then that second pain point, and then we hit that biggest pain point from a different angle, and a different angle, and a different angle, and a different angle. And it's like doing keepy uppies with a football, juggling that biggest pain point, and you're providing them with lots of content around this point so that they know that you're talking to them. The emotional impact, the physical impact, the financial impact, the spiritual impact, the impact it has on your family, the impact it has on yourself, the impact it has on your confidence, your self-esteem, your self-worth, your fitness, your health, your strength. All of these different angles. And we start to provide solutions. We start to show them, look, there is a way through this. We give them the what, not the how. And then our solution is our offer. That's when we deliver the how. The how is our offer. The how is when we fix it, is when we go to town and we over deliver. We deliver so much value at that point. We've already delivered value by this point. We've already given them free value. Everybody here who is a client, I hope you would all say that I have provided you with value before you signed up with me. Like, it's fundamental to my approach. And if you find the manifesto for what an Apex executive is, value is at the heart of what we do. Like, we have to be value driven, because it separates us from the market. It separates us from the slimy skunks out there in sales who literally just want your credit card. Like, I want the people who come through my program and myself to be different. I want us to hold ourselves to a higher standard and focus on value. That's why the driver element of the program, so roadmap, vehicle, driver. That's why the driver is so important. That's why I do not offer to coach everybody. I turned down 3 people today because I did not feel they were a good fit for my program. I did not like their approach, and I didn't feel that I could adjust it, or I didn't really want to adjust it. So it's really important that we get that point that we're here to help. And I think everyone here understands that is the core message. And that's what I love about you all. You're all fantastic coaches. And it's about making sure that that's embodied in your sales. That ideal client, that biggest pain point, and then provide your golden offer. That's your solution. Okay, so then we start to look. Okay, so now we need to start mapping out where we're going to find this client. So now we know what we're going to say to them. How are we going to map this out? So we need to understand, first of all, which one of these 3 demographics do we fit in? Most people who have some kind of health-based offer, so weight loss, strength, pain, nutrition, all those kind of things, they default to health. But you don't have to be in health. It's the logical option, but you don't have to be there. It's about understanding. And although you might decide to live in health to start with, you can still take a marketing message and bring it from the direction of relationships, as an example. So you could be 100 pounds overweight, and does that affect your health? Of course it does. But does it affect your relationships with people? Of course it does. It affects your relationships with yourself, with your partners, with your significant other, with finding a partner, like body confidence problems. And then you start to look at the other side. Well, being 100 pounds overweight, does that affect your wealth? Yes, potentially it's going to shorten your life. You're potentially going to get overlooked for promotions. And although that's quite a touchy subject, there's studies out there that would actually indicate that hiring managers in the UK have subconsciously chosen thinner, healthier people for jobs as the primary candidate. In lots of studies, and this was done in 2015 or 2016, I think this was a study that was conducted. And it's really interesting to see. So actually, you could take weight loss and you can apply this to any one of these categories. So there is no wrong answer. This is about, where do you want to position yourself? This is about understanding what do you want to do. And then once you've picked this, these are red oceans. Red oceans means there's sharks in them, there's blood in the water. Everyone's trying to sell in these groups right here. You go into a general weight loss group on Facebook, it's hilarious. It's literally like a weight loss tea sales room. Like everybody from every country on planet Earth that doesn't seem to speak any kind of English is trying to sell something weight loss related in a weight loss group. So it's about, okay, these are very red oceans. It's going to be very difficult to sell it in this level of group. So what do? We go to a subsector. These subsectors, now all of a sudden, they're slightly more specific. However, all of these marketplaces, health, wealth, relationship, they are saturated marketplaces. That means we are dealing with sophisticated buyers who more than likely have experienced some kind of product or program or approach in some kind of area. These subcategories here, they're not exhaustive. I'm not saying that relationship is only love, marriage, or dating. It's just an example of 3. There's not enough room to put all of them there. Obviously, health is more than just diet, exercise, and nutrition. But you understand the point. We then need to select a subsector. But you were probably screaming at me right now saying, yeah, but these markets are still saturated. These are still red oceans. And you are right. So we are going to take it further. We're now going to go into the niche. Okay, or if you're American, the niche. The riches are in the niches. This is where we start to be able to carve and create our own pool. So a great example of market, subsector, niche, market, health, submarket, nutrition, niche, keto. Has nutrition always been around? Yes. Has keto always been around? Probably. But it didn't come to the market as a big thing until recent times. It was a new niche. Before that, it was the Dukan diet. It was the Atkins diet. It was whatever. It was just no carbs, low carbs. There's always been something. So it's about creating a niche. And what we are going to do is we are going to create our own niche. This is why packaging your program as a new opportunity is so very important. Because if you can package it as a new opportunity, you can now create a niche. You're no longer an improvement offer, because if you go and join somebody else's niche, you will never be the category king. You will always play second fiddle to the main thing in the niche. If you go into a keto group and you come up with something new called Tico, but it's exactly the same as keto, well, it's still keto. You have to be able to have a new approach. You have to be able to package it slightly differently. Keto too? No, still keto. So you want to create a new niche. Your opportunity, your framework, that's your niche. So then for me, the next logical question is, okay, well, if I can create my own niche, that's great. That now means I can become the category king because I own the niche. But I've got nobody in my niche. Nobody knows what my program is. I don't know where to find people. What do I do? Well, we fill it up with group 3 prospects. Okay, so we're going to go to one of the pre-existing niches and maybe even the subsector, and we're going to find people who fall into what we call group 3. Okay, so we've got 3 different groups. Group 1, the die-hard fan. So if you're in a keto group, as an example, and I'll continue with this example as that's the one I used. If we go into a keto group and you find people, you find Betty, she's lost 150 pounds using keto and she's kept it off for 3 years, and she hates potatoes and bread. She's a diehard fan. You are never convincing her to come away from keto because she has learned to live with it. She loves it. It suits her. It matches what she wants. Good for Betty. Okay, that's great. But there's no point trying to convert Betty to your program because she will just get into an argument with you about the features of keto, why it's so good. Then you've got Peter. Peter is satisfied. Okay, I'm just making names up as I go. But Peter is satisfied. Okay, Peter's in group 2. Logically, he understands that your program will help him. He gets it. He's had a conversation with you about it. He seems interested, but he just seems stuck on the fence. Peter, he's in group number 2. That means that there's more pain in his mind associated with making a change than there is with staying where he currently is. People who are trying to sell group 2 and who can't do it successfully, either they have a problem with their sales process, but more often than not, group 2 is an improvement offer. You're trying to sell an improvement offer normally to, if a member of group 2 steps forward, a lot of the time it's for an improvement offer. That means it's a commodity product, which means if you're trying to sell a high ticket program for anything from 800 to 4,000, it's not going to work. They're going to drive you down on price. They're going to be price shopping. They want the 2-week free trial of Beachbody so they can give it a go, no risks, no problems, and then they're going to sign up with 4 different email addresses so they get 6 weeks free. It's 8 weeks free, sorry. And it's about understanding this is not the right group to build your business around. You want the searcher. You want group number 3. Group number 3 have tried keto or any other niche, any other program, and it didn't work. They're unhappy. They are actively looking for something new. These people are everywhere, especially if you look for them. If you can find the searcher and you don't offer them an improvement offer, you offer them something new, that mitigates the risk that they're going to have that fear of, oh, I've tried something similar in the past. All of a sudden, this is where you start to build your market. You go to that red ocean, you go to that niche, you go to that subsector. So you go to nutrition, or you go to keto or paleo or whatever, you get marriage counseling or wealth management or investing or the Audi group or dad group or saving to buy a second home group. Whatever that niche is, whatever that group is, you go there and you find the searchers. You find the people who are unsatisfied with what they've done. They actively are looking for something new, and they will raise their hands. Like, they will openly tell you what they don't like about it. They're the people that we really want to focus on. Because if we can focus on those and we can deliver value to them and we can actually help them, well, that's how we start to build our fan base. And what we want to do is we want to look at our clients, our prospects, holistically, which just means completely. Like, what is their complete view? Like, who are they? And this is a really important question, because a lot of the time we get pigeonholed if we're looking at a weight loss offer or a fitness offer or strength offer or a mindset offer. We come at it from that one angle over and over again, because that's the obvious, it's the linear angle. But you want to start looking at it from other areas. Like, who is your ideal client in all of these places? And there's probably even more sectors that you could look at. So who are they financially? Like, what do they hold true from a value perspective? How much money are they likely to have in savings? What are their religious viewpoints? How does that impact them as a person? What is their family dynamic? Are they married, single? Do they have kids? Are the kids young? Are the kids old? Do they value family? Do they not value family? Are they single? Are they divorced? What's their personal situation like? How do they feel about themselves? What are the values they hold for themselves? Their career? Where are they on the career ladder? What's important to them? Do they like their career? Does their career dominate their life? Do they hate their career? What kind of level of fitness do they have? Do they like fitness? Do they not like fitness? Do they like CrossFit? Do they like running? Do they like weightlifting? Do they like all of it? Do they like none of it? What do they do for fun? Where do they go on holiday? Where do they go for days out? Their health. Do they have health concerns? Are they concerned about health concerns? Do they have mental health problems? Do they have physical health problems? Do they take medication, or are they healthy? It's about painting this complete picture, because that then allows us to go and do research. It allows us to go and think and go and find out, how does somebody who has type 2 diabetes, what do they think about? How do they operate? What's on their mind? What are big problems that they experience? How do people who are in the top 5% of financial earners in the world, how do they manage money? What's important to them? What language would they use? What words are keywords to them? How do they approach money? Because they approach it very differently to the people in the bottom 10% and even the middle. It's about understanding this kind of stuff so that you can go and find them. That's the key. You need to go find them, because if you just go very linear and you just go to that first place, it becomes difficult. You're competing constantly. We want to try and find the less red pools if we can, and then we want to take those fish from those pools, put them in our own pool, which is a lovely blue ocean, as we build that up. I hope this is all making sense to everybody as we go through. Any questions, chuck them in the comments. So identifying where they are. Dream 100 is a fantastic principle that I learned from Russell Brunson. I know he learned it from somebody else. The Dream 100 can be used in a few different ways. As the name would suggest, it revolves around 100 people. It doesn't have to be 100. It can be less. It can be more. But basically, the premise behind it is we want to use this dream list of people. We want to use it to either work with them or get in front of their audiences, or both. Okay, so we want to research every single beacon in your marketplace. So every single influencer in your marketplace who draws in an audience. If we're talking about fitness, we're looking at Joe Wicks. We're looking at Sean T, Tony Horton. We're looking at Weight Watchers, Slimming World. We're looking at keto. We're looking at Jenny Craig. We're looking at all these different things. If it's bodybuilding, we're looking at Olympia. We're looking at Phil Heath. We're looking at Kai Green. We're looking at all these different things. If it's mindset, we're looking at Tony Robbins. We're looking at Brendan Burchard. We're looking at Jay Shetty. Like, we're finding these people who are big in the marketplace. We're going to find their groups. If they're of a stature where we can connect directly with them, then we want to do that. It might be a case, and this is more often than not the case, especially at the very beginning, we want to create relationships with people who manage groups. So if we're using Facebook as the example, we're going to go and find the groups. We're going to build a relationship with the admins of these groups. Hey, Mr. Admin, how you doing? I'm new to your group. I really want to help add value to this group. Do you do joint ventures? If not, how can I make sure that I add as much value as possible to your group? What kind of content do you want? Get them on side. You get a lot more freedom if you get the admin on side. That way you're going to get in front of the audience. If you can do a JV, which stands for joint venture, it means that you're going to be doing something with the admin. You're going to be doing something with the influencer of the group, or an Instagram influencer. It means you're going to have the power of authority. That influencer is going to say, I think this person is good. Listen to what they have to say. You immediately get their audience's attention. Instagram is fantastic for this. Facebook groups, fantastic. This is how you start to garner attention quickly. And then some of those people who are from that influencer, they will watch your stuff, they will look at what you have to say, and they will come and they'll resonate with your message, and then they're going to come and join your stuff. You start stocking your pool with relevant people. This Dream 100 is a fantastic way to build your business for the long term. We need to make sure we have short-term, mid-term, and long-term strategies. You might get lucky with some of this and it might pull off real quick. For me, the Dream 100 is a long-term play. This is how you build the foundation and the future for your business, okay? And this is what it looks like. So this is the sales process, the whole business building process broken down. Don't be overwhelmed by all the arrows. I'm going to explain it as clearly as I can. So day one, we are here, okay? We need to identify the groups. We need to identify the groups that we want to operate in. If they fall inside of that Dream 100, fantastic. Some of them are going to fall outside of that scope, and they're just going to be general environments for us to interact in. We are going to go into those groups, and this is where we start our climb. So if you have ever read anything about anyone climbing Mount Everest, they will go to base camp 1, then to base camp 2, and then they normally come back down to base camp 1 again before starting their proper ascent. They go up, acclimatize, come back down, and go up again. And this is what we want to do. This is the hard yards. This is the difficult piece at the beginning where you have to grind a bit. And this is what irritates me when somebody says, you can just make money, it's super easy. Like, it's simple, but it's not easy. You do have to put work in. So we identify the groups. We're then going into the groups, we're making value-based actions. So we're commenting on people's posts, we're helping people, we're adding our own posts which add value to the group. There is to be no offers of any description, no type of sales of any description in any group, because you will get kicked out of the group. And what you do is you repeat this process around and around and around until somebody, a prospect, engages with your content. So whether it's a comment that you put out there on somebody else's post, if somebody likes that post or that comment, you invite them to connect. You send them a friend request. One of two things is going to happen at this point. Either they are going to accept the friend request, or they're going to ignore it or say no. Either way, you'll never know. So when they say yes, well, what happens? They come to visit your page. It's at this point, and this is why I like to audit people's pages at the very beginning, because I do what's called page persuasion. Our sales feed, so our news feed, our news feed needs to make sure that we have relevant content on that resonates with our ideal client, because that will also resonate with people who are gray areas of our ideal client. It's relevant. It's not just, these are macros, this is a sit up, this is basic mindset stuff. We want things that are specific and valuable to help, like genuinely help people. Like, you want it to be engaging content. You want people to be like, all right, this is really good. It can be written, it can be videos, it can be pictures, it can be graphics, it can be any of it, all of it, whatever you feel comfortable with at first. My advice would be, you need to have a variation on it as you go. You can't just stick with one form, really. You need to mix it up to make it more interesting. But especially at the beginning, do what feels most comfortable. And then one of two things happens. So they're going to look at your page. One or two things will happen. Either they are in buying mode. That means they're going to go this way. If they're not in buying mode, well, it doesn't matter. It's still good, because that still further builds your movement, which helps to build your market. So you're going into a group, you're adding value, the prospect is engaging with you. So either they're replying to you, somebody's liking it, and then you're inviting them to connect. They see your page, they see that it's relevant, they want to keep following your page. That further builds your movement and you build your market. When somebody engages with you, just to touch back up here quickly, that doesn't just mean that one person whose post you commented on. And this is something that's often missed. It's a case of, we're posting to, yes, help the person who originally put the post up, but we're also posting a comment of value so that people can see we have the ability to help. So we show a wider audience our skill set, because you see it on our feeds all the time. There'll be lots of people, you go through a big conversation, certain comments will have like 5 or 10 likes on it, other comments none, others 1 or 2. Well, you want to be that one with 5 or 10, because that's 10 people you can then invite to connect with you. You repeat this process, okay? Keep repeating this process. This is the organic process. This is the simple organic process that allows us to be based on value. And the way in which we make this better is we use that Dream 100. We get buy-in from the influencer, from the group admin. We then have that extra power. It's like a turbo boost when we then go and do value-based actions in the group, because it's got the authority behind it of the group owner. That then makes more people engage, which means you can send invites out to more people to connect. That means your page is going to garner more attention, and hopefully the content on it's relevant. And then we really start the sales cycle. So then we go for the direct engagement messages. So this is messaging people, not salesy, simple conversation, just like they're in front of you. Hey, how are you doing? Great to connect. All right. Wait for a response. If they don't respond, don't send them another 10 messages like a crazy stalker. Leave it. Like, if they don't respond, if they don't say hello back, leave it. It's done. Don't worry about it. It's nothing personal. This happens. If they do respond and they say, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. Like, how are you? I'm really good. How are you getting on? And we want to turn the conversation into whatever it is we want to get to quickly, so that we can run through some key questions. What's your struggle? What's your goal? And then a couple of others that are on a messenger script. That's kind of for a different call, a different program, not the organic side of things right now. But we want to go through the messaging script. We then want to give them more value on either a phone call or a video. And then we want to go for a sales call, and we want to close them on our new vision. We want to give them the baby at that point. What happens at that point? Well, they say yes. We over deliver on our service, on the expectations that they have. That leads to them getting fantastic results, which means we get a testimonial from them with great results. That provides us with third-party validation, which is incredibly important to human beings. Seeing other people saying that we are good always carries more weight than us saying that we are good. What does that do? It further builds our movement and it further builds our own market. This up here is the short term. This is the short term, how we build our market, because we go group, value, prospect, invite, page, build movement, build our own market. And at some point, the byproduct of that is sales. The long-term play is doing this with our Dream 100 and continually converting sales until all of a sudden we just become this unstoppable force, because the wheel has started to move at such a speed, a snowball rolling down a hill, that this starts to build itself. Potentially at some point you have a lead generation team doing this exact process, or you've turned on some kind of Facebook ad process, or Instagram ad process, where we're indoctrinating people in a slightly different way that still focuses on value. Show them a video, they watch a certain percentage. You show them another video, they watch a certain percentage of that one. You show them another video, they watch a certain percentage of it, and then you give them an offer. At that point, they are so indoctrinated in our stuff. They love our stuff. It's no different to having a lead generation team come in and do it for you. To start with, at the very beginning of this process, you are the lead generation team, and this is how we move it forward. How do we use groups now? Value at the core of every action. Like I've just said, provide assistance, but also demonstrate your capabilities. That's why it's important to add value in the comments. Don't just answer it in the simplest possible way. Add context, add value, really demonstrate your worth and your capability in your comments so that you garner attention from other people. As a starting point, we are looking for a ratio of 5-to-1. This is how we know if we're headed in the right direction and we're not spending unnecessary time doing things. The 5-to-1 ratio, 5 conversations in Messenger should lead to 1 phone call booked. Okay, that's the first ratio that we know we're headed in the right direction. We're doing group interactions, which are leading us to 5 conversations a day. From these 5 Messenger conversations, we are booking 1 call. As we move forward from there, we are going to work smarter, not harder. But this is the golden starting point, 5-to-1. How to leverage groups in the long term. Like I've said, align yourself with others who complement what you offer. Okay, and track the success. Use a spreadsheet, track the success. How successful are the groups? How successful were the engagements? What's the JV offer you've got in place with somebody? And at some point, you'll need to build your own community. There'll be merit in building your own community. You don't need to go build a group on day one. Lots of people think you need to have a group to be able to get traction. It's rubbish. Just use other people's groups. That's what they're there for. Invite people back to your personal page. Until you've maxed out your personal page, you don't need to be worrying about anything else. Like, yes, you can have a business page so that people can see maybe a bit more about your business in case you want something there. You don't really need a business page until you're ready to run Facebook ads. And that's only because you need to have a business page to run them properly. Use your personal assets. If you don't want to use your own personal Facebook page, create a Facebook page, which is for your business. That is a personal page, because that's like, Facebook loves organic traffic. The minute you identify yourself as a business, it wants you to pay for the traffic. So use what Facebook offers you. Use the personal profile, generate the organic traffic. It's no different on Instagram. As soon as you identify as a business, they want you to pay for stuff. They want you to pay for the traffic. I won't tell you that, but that is what it is. So use a personal Instagram profile. LinkedIn is slightly different, as is places like YouTube, and those are kind of for a different conversation. And we are going to touch on all platforms as we go through these 8 weeks. But at some point, you will need to build a community, but certainly not at the very beginning. You don't even need a community until you get north of 5-10 grand per month if you're doing high